cloud and DevOps engineer since few years. My career has started with the Linux. So actually working from the last 7 years and doing the DevOps deployments, pipelines, and so basically was actually responsible for working on the Microsoft Azure virtual machines and working on the security requirements and the software-based virtual functions and working as a resource manager template inside that for the application source code. So as I was responsible for more on the Azure Kubernetes services, so that we can actually create multiple quantities and measurements and define various various tools and the target machines, and also working on the Docker engine and Docker Hub, also with the Docker mission, and also responsible for working on the web server and WebLogic server and trying to handle some of the DNS record in case for the application source code deployment. So I will also responsible for getting some of the release management with Windows Active Directory and trying to create those Active Directory based services. On top of that, also using Ansible playbooks, I was creating multiple Ansible playbooks for the application source code and defining that on the target mission with the source code deployment. So I was also working on some of the writing custom scripts in Shell as well as Python and the Groovy scripting cycle for the Jenkins and continuous integration and deployment. Also, with the Ansible integration, runtime services, and also with the third-party environment, and also work on the server-specific services and defining different templates, and for the using CloudFormation for the provisioning of the infrastructure, and also multi-stage application infrastructure on top of that, and for the Groovy-based integration environment, also becoming the Docker container shop start to the Ansible using custom playbook for the runtime deployments and try to make it totally deployable and segregated and make sure that we have these config maps and various kind of things on top of that will help us to do the specific integration of the project inside that, and trying to also work on Apache Tomcat and their kinds of deployments.
Okay. So how much of a cloud experience you have total?
Total, I have run more than 6+ years of experience on the cloud, and this is actually distributed across multiple cloud versions. And apart from that, I also been working with the multiple cloud deployments, with the disaster recover, and also with the business integrity. And I've been also working with continuous integration and with the Python integration, also working on some of the release management and trying to get some of the code in terms of the application deployment services and getting the approved environment from the source code and deployed services, and then trying to handle some of the specific orchestration on top of those.
Okay, so you more which cloud environment you work more with? AWS, Syria, GCP, Azure?
I'm more comfortable with the Microsoft Azure, and I will also have worked on more than 15 Microsoft Azure services like Key Vaults, and also with using Kubernetes service as well as container registry, and also been working on the Visual Studio Team services in creating various pipeline of trees in the Microsoft Azure DevOps for the application source code, and also heading up that the Virtual Studios Team services for application degrees, and inside that handling that on the Microsoft Azure DevOps.
Okay. And from CI/CD tools, so let's go a little bit in detail. What kind of tool you have used for integration purpose?
I've been basically primary for the integration purpose. We were using Visual Studio Team services and offering Team Foundation server for the automatic trigger, and inside that we use various testing tools like Selenium and JNet. Also with different testing tools, JBehave and Cucumber, and also the Karma and the Protractor. Also use it the other tools like so experience with the JMeter, also worked on Veracode and for and Fortify. So I have some knowledge on those some of the tools. Also with the Jenkins, of course, it's the main thing for the CI/CD. Without Jenkins, we can't do anything. We can't write the pipeline through Jenkins file.
Of course. So, what are the plugins you have used with Jenkins?
With Jenkins, basically, I've been using JUnit and PMD and report builder and plugin, and also using the HTML report plugin. Also used Webhook and the Selenium plugin, Maven and Gradle. Also Git plugin and SVN. Also with parameterized build plugins.
Okay.
Also the
Did you do anything with
project
the
build
code and
metrics.
sure. Did you integrate anything for code analysis?
So basically, I was actually integrating for the code analysis, which is the static code analysis we were using, a program in QBasics and detected as well as the Sonar Cube quality gates to do that, and to run time services, also orchestrate third party and contact third party tools, and use that for the application, and try to create custom reports inside that for the orchestration and measurement, and define the application and their application services, which could be taken in the custom reports environment.
Okay. And any QA integration you have done?
Coming to QA integration, I've been doing integration with Atlassian Jira for the various user stories which were created inside that for the application source code management, and also responsible for integrating with Fish Eye for the code and review, and also with the Crucible for the code review, which help us to do the review of the code inside that for the application source code, and apply that to the target machines, and also help us to be specific deployments inside the application deployment services, and also make sure that you have the code coverage and static code analysis, which is totally handled in this case on the environment. And so then we get the stakeholder approval, so that we can approve the code from one environment to other in this case.
Okay. So, and did you do any deployment with Jenkins, or you mostly use it for integration purpose?
Yes, I was actually responsible working on the Jenkins file-based Groovy pipeline for the application code, and also responsible for working on the group integration with multiple sites, and also trying to handle them for the integration uh, side, and also with the Microsoft DevOps Azure, Microsoft Azure DevOps, which help us to make sure that the end-to-end integration is handled on third party, and we are checking out the code automatically without the problem of multiple service environment, and define it there on the integration service environment. So we define everything on the Jenkins file with the stages, dev, test, QA. So once we commit that file, so it will trigger dev, prod, QA, and test environments. So it will be ready for the deployments with automation.
Okay. One second. I'm typing few things that we discussed. So,
Okay.
okay. Any exposure with Ansible?
Uh, yes, I have good experience on the Ansible playbooks service, like writing multiple Ansible playbooks and trying to make sure that Ansible playbook for hand in the target machine of accounts, and some of the integrations, and different machines, and also get the specific services which were created in this case, and responsible for the Ansible integration is on the source code, and trying to make sure that we are the use various Ansible rows, which are creative ways of using various Ansible playbooks from the Ansible Galaxy, and trying to customize those. And I was the person experienced in creating the Ansible workflow, and also trying to assign role-based access controls for the developers so that they can start working on those specific services and utilize it on the Ansible integration workflow. So actually, we have multiple releases for every 2 months. So I mean, I created everything with the Ansible automation, like creating from the source code to deploy onto the Jenkins. Like we created test and prod and trees on the Jenkins jobs. Also, trying to enable the Jenkins jobs and trying to create the pre-test, pre-prod, and prod and test environments. Also working with developers to make sure that they do them commits and merges successfully, and also trying to do the initial made stuff and also with the automate stuff. So also helping the developers. So when we, I mean, when they get the merge conflict, so we'll be there for there and we'll make sure that they do not face, I mean, any issues with that merge conflicts. So I mean, this is the part of the release process we do every 2 months. So we try to do that for the developers. We try, I mean, I did the automation for enter playbooks for pre-release and post-release tasks, so using Ansible automation.
Okay. And how much exposure do you have with Azure DevOps total?
uh, for Azure DevOps, I have 2+ years of experience. So most of the stuff on Azure.
What was the development environment?
Uh, uh, it's
When you
Azure.
use Azure,
Yeah, Azure
yes.
DevOps,
What
C
was,
Sharp,
yeah,
and .NET.
C Sharp, .NET based project.
Yeah,
Okay.
also MVC
And with
.NET.
the, sure. So when you're using an Azure DevOps
Mm.
specifically, okay, for the deployment point of view, how do you manage the deployment of the database?
Uh, so basically, we'll be managing different deployments for the DevOps database. Inside that, using database management of a custom script in PowerShell. So basically, we'll be doing it on the SQL database, and that I will have custom pipeline inside that. It should be still using the input on the display name, and then custom tasks, and use a script task inside that. So which will help us to go and use the backend as share backend as a power share, and past we can pass multiple parameters, and trying to do the update on the schema, and also inside for the script task, and trying to have that on the back, and for the application source code with the PowerShare, and then PowerShell with the specifically handle it on the runtime services on the services. So inside that parameter, and then adding a few target integration schemas.
Okay. Any exposure with Terraform?
Yes. Basically, I have good experience on the data from templates, and been working there from deployment and release management, and I was also responsible using the Terraform uh, scripts and time to use S3 bucket to be able to manage the state of the entire structure in the data from template, and define it on the target mission, so that we can shall use script for the application integration, and then for the some of these custom state management, and also for approve that we don't have to worry about any specific services inside that for the scripted based integration. So I have used it for the rolling updates, and for the create rolling updates. I mean, specifying if you want to deploy anything on the Elastic Beanstalk, I use it. I wrote everything on the Terraform, like spinning up the EC2 resources, and spinning up the VPCs, and also created backend S3 storage. Also responsible for multiple S3 buckets, and using Azure Storage Blob, and also analysis for the research group, and also with the Microsoft Azure Cloud Resources using Terraform template for helping us to make sure that we have the infrastructure as a code on the target machine. Also with the customized parameters which actually sent on the target machine. And also we were provisioning and doing the rollback of the code inside the runtime service deployment. So we make everything to the scripting, not just manual.
Okay, that helps. Okay, any exposure with Puppet or Chef?
Yes, I have good exposure in the Puppet as well as the Chef. Responsible for setting up the various Chef cookbooks in operating systems and various kinds of Puppet manifest, and also inside the application source code and defining the target mission inside the application deployment, and also some of the release management. So in this case, that we don't have to worry about any of the manual installation on top of that. So I was also responsible for having some of the Chef integration and deployment on the application services, which has to be done on top of that so that the installation can be done. User Chef workstation, Chef server to manage those cookbooks.
Okay. So I think I'm pretty much done with what I wanted to know from my side, Vinod. I'll send my opinion and they will revert back to you by tomorrow.
Okay, actually, I have a few questions to ask for
Sure,
you.
definitely.
May I know what is the team size and
Okay, so let me maybe I'll tell you one thing that will remove 50% of your questions. I'm not part of the team. I'm just helping them right now because they are swamped. I'm just
okay,
helping them right now for the technical screening. So
okay,
I have no clue what the project is, the team size is. I only got the job description
okay.
and I'm trying to see whether you comply with the job description or not. At least
Okay.
70% of the
I mean, is
question.
there going to be another round of interview with the client?
Yeah, there will be one more round of interview for sure.
Okay. Okay, that would be good. So it was nice speaking with you, Raju. So it was a good
Sure,
interview. So,
definitely.
yeah, I mean, the conversation is very good. So I like the questions you asked. So thanks for your call, man.
Sure. Wish you all the best, man.
Yeah,
Sure. Bye.
thank you. Bye.